I've always believed that if one day you become successful, every mistake you've made in the past will be told as a legend. But if you fail, those same mistakes will be seen as garbage, as proof of your incompetence. Life isn't fair. People don't care how hard you've tried. They only see the final result. And when you finally succeed, all the things that once made you stumble suddenly turn into stories that others admire. I think everyone carries their own story, a story full of mistakes, struggles, and lessons. But the truth is, very few people are willing to listen to your story while you're still fighting through failure. When you have no fame, no achievements, your words seem to have no weight. Yet one day, if you overcome it all and succeed, the world will suddenly turn to you. They'll want to know how many times you fell, how many rejections you faced, and how you kept going. At that moment, the same failures that once broke you become the very reasons people respect you. That's the paradox of success. It doesn't change your past, it only changes how people see it. What truly matters is not whether we've made mistakes, but how we face them. Every time you fall, it isn't the end. It's a test of your resilience. Life wants to see if you're strong enough to stand up again. I've met many intelligent and talented people who gave up after a few failures. But I've also met ordinary people, not the smartest, not the most gifted, yet they had an extraordinary persistence. They refused to give up, and in the end, they were the ones who succeeded. I used to feel hurt when my efforts went unrecognized, when my hard work wasn't enough. But looking back, I realized that every rejection was a brick that helped me build my own path. Success is never a matter of luck. It belongs to those who are willing to fail again and again and still keep moving forward. The most beautiful part of this journey is how it changes the way we see ourselves. When you're no longer afraid of making mistakes, you become stronger than ever. When you understand that failure is simply part of the process, every step forward becomes lighter, more confident. So, if today you're failing, don't despair. Believe that someday, these very mistakes will become the story that inspires others. Success will come, not to the perfect ones, but to those who have the courage to keep going despite every obstacle and doubt.
I was born into an ordinary family. Nothing special, nothing privileged. My parents weren't rich, and I didn't study at prestigious schools. When I was a child, I wasn't a brilliant student. In fact, I often felt less capable than those around me. I failed many exams, was rejected from countless jobs, and there were times when every door seemed closed. But through it all, there was one thing I never did. I never gave up. I still remember the first time I applied for jobs, I was rejected more than 30 times. Some companies didn't even bother to interview me. They just looked at my application and said, "You're not the right fit." It hurt deeply, but instead of getting angry or blaming others, I asked myself, why am I not good enough yet? What can I do to become better? That question changed everything. I learned one of the most valuable lessons in life. Don't expect others to help you just because you need it. Make them want to help you because you deserve it. Life doesn't owe us anything. Being born into hardship doesn't mean you're doomed to stay there forever. In fact, that's your chance to build strength, to learn how to stand up every time you fall. I used to think that working hard was enough to bring success, but I was wrong. Hard work is only the beginning. You also need persistence, patience, and faith in your own path, even when no one else believes in you. There were times when I felt like I was walking alone in the dark. No one clapped for me, no one encouraged me, and no one cared how hard I was trying. But it was in those lonely moments that I discovered something powerful. True motivation doesn't come from applause, it comes from the belief that you simply cannot give up. When you learn to move forward without needing anyone to watch or praise you, that's when real growth begins. Success never happens overnight. Sometimes you have to fail dozens of times, be misunderstood, be underestimated, but the key is to keep moving. People may take away your opportunities, but they can't take away your determination unless you give it up yourself. Don't be afraid when others don't recognize you. The world isn't obligated to believe in your dreams. That's your job. And one day when you finally achieve what you've been fighting for, all the people who once doubted you will have no choice but to respect your journey. If today you feel like you're at the bottom, if you think you're not talented enough or lack the right connections, remember this: no one starts at the top. Every successful person began from zero. The only difference is some kept walking when everyone else stopped. If you don't quit, one day your story will become the inspiration for others who are just starting out.
Many people dream of success that comes quickly: fame, money, recognition, all in a short time. But the truth is, nothing meaningful ever happens overnight. Every success story you see has a long, invisible chapter filled with struggle, doubt, and countless silent efforts. When I first started my journey, I wasn't the smartest person in the room. In fact, I worked with people who were far more intelligent than me. They understood things faster, they had better connections, and they often got ahead. But I noticed something. Most of those smart people wanted results immediately. They wanted quick wins, easy success, and instant validation. And when things didn't work out as expected, they gave up. That's when I realized being smart is not enough. You have to be patient. True success requires time, and time tests your endurance more than your intelligence. You can learn a skill in a few months, but building something that lasts can take 10 years or more, and most people simply don't have the patience for that. For me, every project, every idea, every dream is a 10-year journey. I don't expect to win tomorrow. I prepare to win 10 years from now. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers want results right away. Doers plant seeds, water them, and wait, even when the results are invisible. When you think long-term, failures become lessons, not endings. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every rejection builds your strength. Every delay prepares you for a bigger opportunity. That's why I've learned not to fear failure, because failure, when viewed with the right mindset, is simply progress in disguise. If you want to succeed, surround yourself with people who are not afraid of hard work, who are willing to take the slow road, who understand that real change takes time. The people who last are not always the smartest, but they are the ones who refuse to quit. I'm not a genius. I've never considered myself exceptionally talented. What I do have is persistence, a stubborn belief that if I keep going, if I keep learning, if I keep improving, success will eventually come. The world may move fast, trends may change every day, but principles never do. Patience, consistency, and resilience, these are timeless. So instead of chasing quick success, build lasting strength. Prepare for the long game, because in the end, the ones who win are not those who start fastest, but those who never stop walking.
Failure is a teacher that never flatters but always tells the truth. Most people fear it, run from it, or try to hide it. But I've learned to embrace it. Every mistake I've made has become part of who I am today. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't erase any of them, because each failure was a seed of wisdom that helped me grow stronger. When I look back, I realize that I failed far more than I've succeeded. I've made wrong decisions, trusted the wrong people, and missed great opportunities. But through every fall, I discovered something essential. The real difference between people who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence or talent, it's attitude. Successful people don't blame others when things go wrong. They reflect, adapt, and keep moving. There was a time when every mistake felt like the end of the world. But over the years, I learned to see failure as part of the process. Failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. When you fall, you have two choices: complain or learn. If you complain, you stay where you are. If you learn, you move forward stronger than before. I've met many brilliant people who gave up after one big failure. They thought that falling once meant they weren't good enough. But that's not true. The most successful people in history, innovators, leaders, creators, they all failed many times. What made them great wasn't perfection, it was persistence. They refused to let mistakes break their spirit. Even today, I still make wrong choices. My team and I make mistakes almost every day. Some decisions look smart at first, but turn out to be foolish later. That's life. We're all learning. The key is to fail fast, learn faster, and never stop improving. The moment you accept failure as a teacher, not an enemy, your mindset changes completely. You stop fearing mistakes and start seeking growth. You realize that every wrong turn is actually guiding you toward the right path, if you're willing to listen and adapt. And perhaps the most powerful lesson of all is this: success is not built on success. It's built on failure, frustration, and the determination to rise again. Every setback prepares you for the next breakthrough. Every time you fall and stand back up, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. So the next time you fail, don't ask, why me? Instead ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because one day, when you finally achieve what you've been chasing, you'll look back and realize that failure wasn't the obstacle. It was the foundation.